Well, thank you very much for taking the time here. I'm going to speak about Inflection. We are focused on the discovery of copper and gold in Eastern Australia, specifically in New South Wales. I will be making loads of forward-looking statements, so please bear that in mind. We've got an agreement with a major that's still a heads of agreement, not a definitive agreement, so just please be aware of that. So what are we doing? We're looking in northern New South Wales for large-scale copper-gold porphyry deposits. These are alkalic porphyries. We have 100% ownership of all the assets in the portfolio, and we are the largest owners of exploration licenses in the state of New South Wales, with over 7,000 square kilometres of licenses. As we just mentioned, we've just entered about a week ago now into a non-binding heads of agreement with AngloGold Ashanti, which is a multi-year exploration initiative across our entire portfolio looking for large-scale copper-gold. And I'll talk a little bit about the strategy as well. Just quickly on the corporate structure here, currently have a market capitalization around about 15-16 million Canadian dollars. We're also lucky to have strong institutional support in the form of Crescat, RCF, and Sprott. The management team currently owns just under 30% of the stock as well. So we're very much aligned with everybody's interest here, and looking forward to get this thing going. Just briefly on the people. It is a very technically driven story, so we're heavily weighted towards the geologists. We've got a number of geologists on the team, including our chairman, Wendell Zerb, myself, I'm a geologist, but we've also got a gentleman called Douglas Haynes, who's an advisor and one of the founders of the company. And Douglas, there on the bottom of the screen, is a very well-known Australian geologist. He was the former chief geoscientist for a very successful and iconic Australian mining company called Western Mining Corp. And ultimately has been involved in a number of very big discoveries, including the Olympic Dam deposit in South Australia, and more recently involved in the discovery of the Kamoa copper deposits in the DRC. So it's a technical team for the most part, but with a nice balance of capital market experience. So what are we doing in this part of the world? We're exploring a belt of rocks called the Macquarie Arc. This is an old series of volcanic rocks, which is host to a whole series of big mines, including Cadia Ridgeway. This is Newcrest Mining's flagship operation. This produces around about 1 million ounces of gold per year. We have Evolution Mining's flagship mine there, Cowal, as well as the North Parks mine. These are big large-scale porphyry deposits for the most part. But it's a fabulous place to work, and we're exploring the northern extension of this belt there, and you can sort of see our exploration licenses in the orange. But the rub is the northern part of this belt is covered with a veneer of sediments masking the prospective underlying geology. And this just gives you a flavor of the type of terrain we're dealing with. So you can sort of see the sedimentary cover masking the geology here. So it's flat terrain. For the most part, with the exception of some heavy rains every now and again, there's no seasonality aspects to here. It's very simple to operate, easy to get around. And what this really translates to is very cost-effective exploration. So it's very simple, and it's just a pleasurable place to work. But just having that infrastructure in place just really makes it a great place to operate. And this is really the key image to explain kind of the opportunity and what started this. We've got two maps here of the same scale side by side. On the left, we've got a simple geological map with the major mines, the sedimentary cover, and our land position in the orange to the north. And on the right, we have a magnetic map. And what this is a geophysical survey, an airborne geophysical survey that was flown by the government of New South Wales to encourage investment in mining and exploration. And what it demonstrated was that the key set of volcanic rocks that host these big mines further to the south essentially continues underneath that sedimentary cover. And we partnered up with Dr. Douglas Haynes, who I mentioned earlier, and Douglas built a beautiful interpretive geological map extrapolating the known outcropping geology to the south underneath the sedimentary sequence. And in addition to that, he identified 30 very large targets he considered analogous with the major mines located further to the south. So this was the key thing, and he identified the targets at the time all on open ground. So we were able to secure 100% ownership of all of these tenements just by traditional sort of staking methods. And really, what are we doing to explore this large portfolio? Well, it is very much a portfolio approach, as Eric mentioned. It is a little bit of a numbers game. You know, a key part of this is being able to drill test as many targets as quickly and as cost effective as possible, and critically, targets that have never been drilled before. We're not drilling old prospects here that have been drilled by many different companies before. These are brand new targets that have never received a single drill hole. And critically as well, there's scale. There's been a filter applied to the targeting methodology, which really just focuses in on the very largest types of deposits in the belt. So we're looking for something very, very big and just drilling lots of shallow holes through the sediments into the basement and looking for these key attributes often associated with or in close proximity to these big alkalic systems. But if we're not seeing those key attributes, we walk away, drop the target, and move on to the next one. So it's a drill and kill type strategy, if you will. And it was really this strategy and this whole process that we were able to attract AngloGold Ashanti as a partner. And just last week, we entered into a non-binding heads of agreement for a multi-year earning agreement over the whole, most of the portfolio in New South Wales. Right now, we're in a 60-day period where we're working through the definitive agreement. And as soon as that's done, we'll obviously announce that to the market. But broadly here, the structure is this: to get to a 75% interest, AngloGold will be required to spend 10 million Australian dollars across the entire portfolio as part of a first pass program. This would really be following up some of the targets that have yet to be drilled, as well as following up other targets that already returned favorable alteration in geochemistry. So it's a large-scale first-pass program, probably comprising of a couple of drills, just working across the whole group of claims. And then at the end of phase one, the company can elect to select 5 projects at which you can earn a further interest. Phase two, should I say, is 7 million Australian dollars to earn a 51% interest. Phase 3 is an additional 20 million Australian dollars to get to 65%. And phase 4, AngloGold Ashanti will be required to complete a pre-feasibility study with a minimum 2 million ounce copper gold or gold copper equivalent resource. So this is a fairly significant and fairly onerous earning sort of schedule for AngloGold. But what this is really allowing us to do is to allow us to aggressively drill test many other targets without overthinking every single drill hole. And we think just having this access to capital now and a partner such as AngloGold is really going to accelerate the exploration program, which we've been working on now for a couple of years. But right now, it's waiting for the definitive agreement to be put in place, and very much looking forward to work with AngloGold. Another key aspect to this that I didn't mention is we will receive a 10% management fee for operating the joint venture in phase 1. And phase 2 onwards, Anglo retained the right to take over management of the project. But that $1 million management fee for phase 1 is certainly a key for us. And then I've just got this in here as a bit of a snapshot of our current property portfolio. So we've got the 2 graphics here, both basically showing the same thing. The pyramid on the left is sort of the pipeline of exploration targets, and the map on the right is more the graphic sort of representation of that. The icons in red have come by a very strong alteration in geochemistry that you would typically see in proximity to some of these alkalic copper gold systems. The ones in yellow have come back with sort of indications or sniffs of alteration and mineralization, if you will. And then the ones in green have yet to be drilled. So there's a large number of targets, and these are really clusters of targets. So there's multiple drill holes planned. But that phase 1 program that AngloGold have agreed to fund will probably comprise around between 70 and 80 holes as a first pass across all of these targets. I'll just draw your attention there to Duck Creek. That's sort of sitting there in the middle of the sort of package of licenses there. Duck Creek is the one that really caught the attention of AngloGold, and it was Here we are. This is Duck Creek. This is a very complex magnetic feature. So this dark red feature in the white box on the left is a sort of a zone of intensely magnetic rocks that are generally associated with alteration, and we're focused very much on the dark blue areas within those images. We believe these represent areas of alteration. We drilled initial 3 holes into that sort of dark blue magnetic low, and we hit very strong alteration, as I mentioned, and it was this alteration that really has driven AngloGold to get involved here. So really, just in terms of catalysts for the company going forward here, the main one really on my desk right now is getting this definitive earning agreement signed. This will be a major milestone for the company. The deep drilling at Duck Creek, following up those shallow holes that I just mentioned, where we got the initial indications of favorable alteration. We're going to be drilling a series of deep holes in and around that specific target, as well as completing a lot of more first pass drill holes across the greater portfolio. There's many targets, very large targets that have yet to receive a single hole. So that's a very exciting few months ahead of us here. So really, with that, I will leave it there. I mean, it's a story of operating in a fabulous mining-friendly jurisdiction in a belt of rocks known for very big mines. It's really the key is the scale of the targets as well. These are big features, and right now all the work is they're going to be funded by AngloGold Ashanti, and looking forward to keeping you updated with that. With that, we'll leave it there. Okay. Thank you.